Welcome to the show where I am the punctuation. I am the epilogue. I am the end of the words. Today we are looking at A Dull Roar by Henry Rollins, which is basically, and I say basically because it is, his journal during from April to early September 2006 when he is getting ready to tour with the Rollins Band, where he is working on the film Wrong Turn 2, as well as doing his radio show, as well as doing his IFC television show, and it's just kind of his daily journal. But in addition to his daily journals, he imparts a lot of his personal opinions and a lot of his thoughts into it as well. And I have a few marked in here and a lot of them are early ones. A lot of these, if you read this, you see they persist through in different ways, and maybe more eloquent, maybe less eloquent. But without a doubt, Henry Rollins has some pretty serious beliefs in what he believes in. And there's never been a book I've ever in my life wanted to use a highlighter while reading, ever. And as I was reading this, I want to say 20 pages in, I wanted to get a highlighter and start highlighting things because some of these quotes are just, some of them are so off the wall and so like militant. You're like, holy shit, how does somebody live like this? And then on the opposite side, some of them are like, you know what? Henry Rollins, kind of making sense here. So I just have a few marked, not any particular order, not for any particular reason, just a few things I read that will give you a taste of what Henry Rollins is about and what Henry Rollins is kind of going through. I've read a lot of Henry Rollins quotes prior to reading this, and this, it seems he's in a kind of a more negative mindset in this. It seems to be a negative time. He's going through some shit or something's going on, because I read some things that he's written. I've read some things that he's said that are very positive and kind of very uplifting, albeit realistic, but still kind of positive and uplifting. In this, there's a lot of down. For instance, I might as well give you the date on this. April 7th, 2006. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be loved or understood. Fuck that. I want what comes to those who dare. That's it. I have 3.5 months to train before the first shows. I need to temper myself. There's a few thousand push-ups I have to do before then. The weight will make me stronger. This is real life to me. The rest is bullshit. That is Henry Rollins in a nutshell. The work is all that matters, is a key topic running through this. It runs through the whole book. What do we got next? Here, this is a good one. I will never, ever get out of survival mode. I will always be desperate. Desperation and dread keep it real. It's why I walk my old streets as often as I can. I keep coming back around, keep wading into the place I came from. Never forget, never take anything for granted, and never ever think any of this is going to last longer than a tour, a film shoot, a week, or a month at best. It's like climbing a mountain with no hope of reaching the summit. It's not that there isn't a summit. It's not a matter of never becoming enlightened because you're always on your way to becoming enlightened. There's a summit. I just lack what it takes to get there. I will die en route. That's how I see it. If I'm not at odds with at least some of it all the time, then I will surely fail without honor. That's one of those that's very militant and, I mean, a little negative, if you're being honest. I mean, he just believes he'll never make it, but this is also what drives him. So it's a positive to him because it drives him to make him work harder and make him do what he wants to do. This is another one that goes stretch. By the way, all these are to the point where it gets a little repetitive. All these are mentioned again and again and again. I just picked out some of the earlier ones where they're kind of still jarring when you read them at first. This one tells you about how he actually prefers to be alone. As it is right now, I'm sitting here alone in this room and want for nothing human. I don't want anyone to touch me. I don't want to call anyone. I don't want anyone calling me. I use time alone as a reward for time being out with people. What's interesting in life is all that can change in about a minute. I know that. I am not some hard ass who can't change his mind. I am fucked and better off on my own. There's actually a good line in here. I couldn't find it, but he says the only thing that ruins a room is other people in there with you, which that's pretty fucking deep if you think about it. By the way, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. There's going to be some cursing in this. Next up, oh, this one is great. I love this one. That's how I'm going to train. I'm going to train knowing I'm a weak piece of mediocre shit and I will beat myself into an animal state where I can take any fucking thing. That's when it's real. When you stop articulating it and start surviving it, that's when you're on to something. That's a good one. I've probably thought about that every day since I've read this when I was in the gym. Just to train in an animal state to when you, that's it. That's all there is. There are moments where you see him going through different states of depression, and he'll mention it. He'll say, "I'm depressed today. Depression is pushing on me, but I'm pushing back." Life itself is boring. Life itself is just walking death. I like discipline and repetition. I like confrontation and that which does not come easily. Here in this room alone, I am good. I'm good to go. I don't hate people, but I would rather be alone than with anyone. I used to be different. I used to get lonely. Now I don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. Alone and working is the most honest, uncluttered, and pure state I know. I'm so glad I found it. I can't imagine being married. I can't imagine being closer to anyone I know than I am now. Sometimes I feel a temptation to move to the middle of nowhere and just finish it out in obscurity. Sometimes I want that more than anything. It's an idea I keep in my mind and pull out on long airplane flights. Having this tour to build up to has been good for me. It's given me a reason to keep going. I don't give a fuck when I die. Another reoccurring theme in the book is that he doesn't care when he dies. There's actually a line that he says he wants to die outside because he bought a house one time that somebody, or he was in a house that somebody died in, and there were spots like where his heels were, where his arms were, where his back and his head was on the ground. He said, "I don't want anybody to fuck with my mess." It's like, I'll die outside so nobody has to fucking deal with it. Like I said, almost militant, but almost uber realism coming from Henry Rollins. He's a very polarizing character because there's times where I was reading this, I was like, I don't know, Henry. I don't know if I agree with you, but it's not always. There's don't be mistaken. There probably won't be a time where you're like, I don't know if I agree. Basically, you're either going to steadfastly agree or you're going to just disagree to the point of no chance. What's this one? Oh, here we go. It's 1:34 hours. I should get off this and get back to the book for a little while and rack. He calls sleeping rack. Tonight will be a major shoulder workout. You know that scene in Deer Hunter where the Green Beret is sitting at the bar and everyone's asking him what it's like in Vietnam and all the soldier says is fuck it? I spend my days at a time in that moment. It's good to be dead. Carry on. And all these themes continue. You see, and I'm not going to say positivity, but you see his depression. You see low levels of depression. You see mediocre levels of depression. But it's kind of a negative time for him. But all in all, it was a stellar read. It took me a while to read it because I was I was busy. I was distracted by some things. And for the most part, I may have been looking for something in this. I may have been looking for, I don't know, some answers to something in my life, which is very possible because he has such this strong attitude and this strong mentality about things that maybe I was searching for something. Luckily, I didn't make any crazy life changes like abandon everybody in my life and run away, which is kind of Henry Rollins makes seem very appealing in this. I wouldn't recommend this if you are kind of having a crisis and don't know what to do because you probably will leave your family. You will leave everything behind because the way Henry Rollins explains loneliness, not even loneliness, being alone is so appealing. Maybe it's me, I don't know, but the way he explains things about how awesome it is to just you. That's it, you. It's something. If you're into Henry Rollins, pick up a dull roar. This actually got me to revisit Black Flag. I haven't listened to Black Flag in a long time, and I got reinvested in Black Flag. Started to listen. I was familiar with the Rollins Band, never super into them. I've actually gotten pretty heavily into them since I started reading this. So at worst, this book almost made me change my life and disappear. At best, Henry Rollins' aggression, Henry Rollins' militant attitude, Henry Rollins' strength helped me. So I'm not saying this book's going to help you. I'm not saying you're even going to like it. But if you want something different If you're interested at all in Henry Rollins, give it a read. I'm gonna give this book a 8 out of 10 because it did get pretty repetitious, but it was still enjoyable. I liked it. I did. So, as I decided on the last one I did, the last book review I did, um, what's after the epilogue, since I'm the epilogue's epilogue, and it's that blank page before the back cover, which not all books have, I guess. But actually, I'm changing it from the last page. I'm just going to say, enjoy the back cover. I'm the epilogue's epilogue. Enjoy the back cover.